Start by understanding what a dangling preposition is. Also known as a hanging or stranded preposition, this occurs when a preposition's object appears earlier in the sentence, or sometimes doesn't appear at all. The preposition is left dangling at the end, not forming a complete prepositional phrase. Contrary to what you may have heard, it's not actually wrong to end a sentence or clause with a preposition. This myth comes from Latin grammar rules, but English works differently. Throughout this video, we'll explore why dangling prepositions are not only acceptable but often sound more natural in everyday English. Let's look at where these constructions commonly appear. Dangling prepositions often show up in questions, infinitive phrases, passive voice, and relative clauses. For example, in questions like "What are you talking about?" or "Where did they come from?" the preposition naturally lands at the end. In infinitive phrases, you might hear "There is nothing to be scared of." Passive voice also produces sentences like "The problem is being dealt with." And in relative clauses, you'll find "The family whose house we're staying in has been very kind to us." Notice how these sentences sound perfectly natural. Trying to avoid dangling prepositions can make sentences awkward and overly formal, which is why modern English accepts them. Many people believe it's wrong to end a sentence with a preposition, but this is a myth rooted in Latin, not English. Rewriting sentences to avoid dangling prepositions often results in awkward constructions. For example, "Where did they come from?" becomes "From where did they come?" which sounds stilted. Similarly, "There is nothing to be scared of" turns into "There is nothing of which to be scared." These versions are technically correct, but rarely used in natural conversation. The takeaway: it's usually best to stick with the more natural preposition-ending forms, especially in everyday speech and writing. Sometimes you can avoid dangling prepositions by switching from passive to active voice. For instance, "The problem is being dealt with" can become "We are dealing with the problem." These active constructions sound natural and clear. However, changing to active voice can shift the focus of the sentence, sometimes removing the emphasis on the unknown agent. While many guides recommend using active voice for clarity, it's not necessary to rewrite every passive sentence just to avoid a dangling preposition. The key is to prioritize clarity and natural flow in your writing and speech. Wrap up: dangling prepositions are a natural and accepted part of English. The old rule against ending sentences with prepositions is outdated and based on Latin, not English. In most cases, sentences with dangling prepositions sound more natural and are easier to understand. While it's possible to rewrite sentences to avoid them, doing so often makes your language sound stiff and unnatural. Remember, clarity and natural flow should always come first. So don't be afraid to end your sentences with a preposition. Embrace the way modern English is spoken and written.